Hello everyone, welcome in the studio. I am working on the waxes of the Osprey sculpture. So there's two waxes of the Osprey sculpture. I am cleaning the waxes, which is basically working the seam line, removing the bubbles and resculpting the places where it didn't cast, where the air was trapped or something like that. So the first stage is to cut off the pouring holes which were here. Now they are melting in this spare wax pot. I'm cutting them in the mold room, the wax room, mold room here, because it's quite stinky, fumey process. So I'm using this soldering tool to melt it off, and then I transfer it to this room where the light is much better, and then there's fresh air access and natural light access, as well as artificial light. That's the working station. And the tools, so there's various metal tools, turpentine, different types of waxes, soft wax, which I use to fill up the gaps and resculpt bits. This is the soldering tool that's been transformed into like a melting tool by attaching a dimmer and replacing the original end bit with bronze customized shape end. Yeah, so these are the wings. These are the branch elements that the sculpture stands on. Here are the molds ready for the next pour cast. That's the wing molds. These are pretty large and quite labor intensive, time consuming to produce wax. In here there's more wings and other elements such as the fish. This is the opening. This is the place where the fish connects to the branch, and that will also serve as a access for the core, for the ceramic shell to be built inside. As for the wings, it will be down to the foundry to decide how they want to cast it. I think this is definitely the most difficult element from the sculpture to cast, because the cavity inside the wing is irregular, and I don't actually know exactly how it goes, how deep it is, and if there's any sharper bits. Maybe the cavity is quite round and simple, and it will hold inside, but it may be places where it's extensive and very thin and flat, and then it will break off inside the ceramic shell mold and mess up the whole cast, which would be terrible. So the other way to deal with it would be to close that completely and cast it solid, and that could cause a massive shrinkage because that's quite a lot of volume here. So there would have to be very fat feeds attached to the wing in 2 or 3 places, or maybe more, or possibly cutting this wing again in some area, like cutting out a patch or a fragment, and then so there will be a clear access inside, and some thin areas could be filled up with wax, or yeah, so there's many ways to deal with it. In here we can see that's the Osprey's head, and some parts of it are sculpted in different wax. So I was filling up the little holes or no runs with replacing it, resculpting it with the soft wax. Generally the wax came out very nice, very well. I'm happy with the result. It's not so much work. Let's have a look at that one. So that's the body. Because these are precision molds, so the wall was sculpted in clay, and the wax that pops out is quite accurate. There's not much, you know, work around it. It's pretty good. Let's put it here for now. So this is my bedding place. Sometimes I use it for other clutter, but it's basically a bedding, so the wax is lying down on the soft and it's not deforming. Here are the legs. So there may be that the talons won't cast properly, and I will resculpt that in bronze. So it is good to have a control over the process on every stage, because as you can see, many things happen in the mold, in the wax, in the bronze. There is always, you know, every single stage affects the sculpture. So if you're supervising it or doing it yourself like I do, is definitely securing the quality of the sculpture. Unless you're leaving it with the experts, with like a top foundry, then you basically hope, and then you know that they will do a great job. But if you want to get something done well, do it yourself. And that's my philosophy. Thanks for watching. I will share the next video when the wax is assembled.